Hello Games You Loved, thanks for having me on. I'm Pete, aka On a Retro Tip, here to show you some of my recent buys. All retro gaming related, of course. Now, first thing I have is a little stack of Amiga demo discs. And the reason I bought these is because I was after this one specific disc, and that is Cannon Soccer. And this was released back in the day at Christmas, and it's from Sensible Software, and it's kind of a montage of their two really popular games, Cannon Fodder and Sensible Soccer. And you control the little cannon fodder guys over the football pitch, and there's little things saying Merry Christmas and everything, and there's snow everywhere. It's just very nostalgic. But these are about £3 on eBay, so in the end I saw this whole bundle of discs for about £3, and I thought, let's just get that, you know. It works out about the same price. And there's some other cool demos in there, like we've got Iridium 2 in there, Syndicate, one of my favourites, and there's a good deal of pretty useless discs in there as well, like utilities, you know, spreadsheet creators and stuff like that. But never mind. Now, just veering off of Amiga for a second, we have this Vectrex game, and that is Chimney Hunt. And this just came out, it came a couple of days ago, nice clear cart there. So this came available in like a red, clear orange, and this transparent case, and also in just a plain black case. But yeah, it's like a Christmas themed game, and if I can, I'll pop some footage there. I'll record some footage in a minute. But it's like you're going down these sort of spiraling squares which emulate a chimney, and you're collecting presents and what have you, and you kind of, you know, you're Santa, and it's a very basic game, but it's reasonably enjoyable, and a cool little thing to have. So Amiga stuff, I got 3 of these little big box games, so like the smaller size big box games, if that makes sense, if you're not into your Amiga. So first one is one that I absolutely loved as a kid, and that is Rick Dangerous. And you can see from the cover there that it is emulating Indiana Jones. So it's like Rick Dangerous was a little rip-off of Indiana Jones. And yeah, I loved this game when I was young, the music and just the gameplay and everything. So it's like a platform game where you run through these levels one screen at a time, and you can shoot enemies with bullets and blow them up with dynamite, both of which are very limited. But the real trick to this is avoiding the traps, because as you'd expect from any good Indiana Jones rip-off, there's traps all over the place. So you are getting, you know, you're getting done by spikes, or you're getting crushed, or you're getting rolled over by these huge boulders, or whatever it may be. But quite a lot of it just pops up. You'll be walking along, and then, you know, a trap pops up and gets you out of nowhere. So you really have to learn the levels and learn the screens, because otherwise you're just going to constantly die. So, for example, as well as just walking along and getting sort of caught by a trap, you might be going from one screen to the next, and you'd fall on spikes. So you'd have to know, okay, when I go to that next screen, I need to sort of veer to the right to avoid the spikes, or something like that. But it was a great game, absolutely love it. Second one is It Came From the Desert, and this is from Cinemaware, and they were very sort of very famous and made a name for themselves as doing very cinematic games, and this one was no exception. This is kind of based on the B-movie horrors of the 50s, and this one stars these giant ants that have invaded a town, and you have to investigate the source and then take on the ants. And it was, I think it's based on a specific film called, I think it was called Them, and it's about giant ants, but it was obviously inspired by that. But yeah, it's got a wide array of genres of gameplay in it. So there's adventure game bits where you're going around the town and talking to people and sort of gathering information. And then there's top-down shooter bits, and there's also like first-person shooter bits where you're kind of static, but you can move a hand with a gun and shoot the ants and what have you. So it's a weird mishmash of genres, but it's really sort of iconic. And it was that time for me playing the Amiga when games started to get really cinematic and tell stories, and I was discovering that, wow, this sort of art of storytelling really works in video games, which before, in the 80s, it had very much been sort of arcade ports or whatever. Or if you did get something with a story, it was more likely to be a text adventure. And then things like, obviously, like Monkey Island and the adventure games like that were coming out early 90s, and it was a real big time for sort of storytelling in games. And the last little Amiga game I've got is Chase HQ, obviously a port of the Taito arcade cab, which is great. Amiga's not as good as that, but it's one that I enjoyed very much as a kid. Sadly, no manual in this. I did buy this, just the disc and the box, but for a very good price on eBay. Oh, and I should say that, yeah, all these came from eBay, apart from that Rick Dangerous, which came from my mate Steve, who gave me the Xenon 2 discs. And yeah, it's, you know, it's like Outrun, but you're chasing bad guys and you're cops. And I mean, look at the guys on there. It's sort of very Miami Vice. You got to love a bit of Chase HQ. And the last big box game is Descent, which is a proper big box. So you can see, compared to the Amiga ones there, it's a proper one. The larger ones. Now this is a DOS game that came out in '94, and this is like it's kind of like a Doom clone. So at the time you had all these Doom clones coming out that wanted to emulate Doom, but add something a little bit more. So you had things like Hexen and Dark Forces coming out, and Rise of the Triad. And for example, where Dark Forces added looking up and down, which you couldn't do in Doom, Descent let you rotate in 360 degrees because you're actually flying in a ship. So although it's like the first person shooter kind of setup, you are in a ship, and I think it was set on Pluto or something, and you're going down these mines, and you can yeah, I mean, it doesn't give much away on the back, the box shot there, but you basically fly through these mines and you're blasting stuff and you're collecting keys and you're doing all the normal first person shooter stuff. But it's just a nice twist on the genre, and one that I played to death back in the day and really loved. Right, and the last retro related pickup I have picked up recently is probably the most exciting. It's one of these IMP sticks. And IMP, what does it say? Intelligent Mega Power, that stands for. Now, I've been after one of these for absolutely ages, and this came from a mate Russ, who you may know as Gross Newton on YouTube. And he's had two of these for years, and I've never ever seen one for sale. I've been looking, I would have snapped it up if I'd seen one, but I've never seen one for sale. So I always said to Russ, if you ever get rid of them, hit me up and I'll buy one off you. So yeah, recently he sold it off and I snapped it up. It's a really nice micro switch stick. It looks gorgeous, I'm sure you'll agree. It's kind of it's like a Mega Drive-y style, but it looks very Neo Geo, I suppose. But the reason this is so special is it works on the Mega Drive, which is nice because it's very hard to get a decent stick like this for the Mega Drive. But the really exciting thing is it works on PC Engine, and getting a PC Engine stick that works this well is nigh on impossible. So yeah, I mean, chuffed to knock that out. It's got two ports, one for Mega Drive, one for PC Engine, and it's got a cable that works for both, so you can yeah, you can use it on either. So that's going to be getting a hell of a lot of use on both my Mega Drive and PC Engine, so really chuffed to get that. So yeah, that's my recent kind of retro pickups, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and thanks for having me, Games You Loved. Peace.